Betrayal cuts deeper than most wounds. It shakes trust, leaves scars on the heart, and can change how we see the world around us. Islam does not dismiss this pain or ask us to ignore it. Instead, it transforms betrayal into an opportunity for wisdom, patience, and growth. While many people think the only choices are revenge or silence, the teachings of Islam reveal far more powerful responses. In this video, we'll uncover 7 unique ways to face betrayal, insights that are often overlooked but deeply transformative. So, what should you really do when they betray you? 1. See betrayal as a wake-up call. Betrayal is one of the most painful experiences a person can face. It shatters trust, shakes your confidence, and leaves a sting that feels unforgettable. Yet in Islam, betrayal is not meant to be seen only as a wound. It can also be a wake-up call, an alarm that pulls you out of illusions and reminds you where true trust should be placed. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, faced betrayal more than once. His own tribe in Makkah rejected him after knowing his honesty and character for years. Allies who had made agreements with him broke their promises. Even those close to him failed him at times. Each act of betrayal could have left him in despair, but instead, he treated these moments as turning points. They pushed him closer to the Creator's plan, reminding him that human loyalty is fragile, but divine support is constant. This perspective is often overlooked. We naturally focus on the disloyalty itself, the lies told, the promises broken, the trust destroyed. But Islam encourages us to look beyond the surface. Betrayal is not only about what someone else did to you, it is also about what you are being reminded of, that no matter how much you love or trust someone, only the Creator will never fail you. There is hidden wisdom in this. Betrayal often exposes attachments we didn't realize were unhealthy. Some of us tie our hearts too tightly to wealth, to friends, to status, or to relationships. When betrayal strikes, it tears away those illusions. It forces us to reevaluate. Was my heart too attached to people who could never truly hold it? Or have I placed my trust where it belongs, in the one who never betrays? Seen this way, betrayal is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a new awareness. It reminds us that the heart must not depend completely on people, because people can change, falter, and fail. The Creator is the only constant anchor. Once betrayal is understood as a wake-up call, the next challenge is how you respond in that first painful moment. That is where the real test begins. 2. Restrain the first reaction. When betrayal hits, the first instinct is often explosive. Anger rises, emotions boil, and the desire for revenge feels almost uncontrollable. This is human nature, but Islam teaches that true strength is not found in unleashing those emotions. It is found in controlling them. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, described the strongest person not as the one who can overpower others in physical battle, but as the one who can control themselves in a moment of anger. This wisdom is especially relevant when betrayal occurs. If we let our immediate emotions lead us, we may say or do things that cause damage far beyond the betrayal itself. A powerful example is the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. The companions of the Prophet felt betrayed when the terms of the treaty seemed unfair and humiliating. Emotions ran high and many were ready to break the agreement. But Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, showed restraint, holding his companions back from reacting rashly. That patience which felt so difficult at the time, later turned into one of the greatest victories in Islamic history. It proved that restraint can open doors that anger would slam shut. This lesson is timeless. When betrayal comes, the very first reaction sets the tone for everything that follows. An outburst of rage can escalate conflict, destroy reputations, and bring regret. But restraint, taking a breath, stepping back, and choosing calm, preserves dignity and prevents betrayal from shaping your character into bitterness. What most people don't realize is that restraint is not weakness, it is a shield. By holding back the first reaction, you protect yourself from making the wound even deeper. You give yourself space to think clearly, to seek wisdom, and to choose a response that aligns with faith. Betrayal will always test your emotions, but your first reaction can either trap you in anger or free you to act with purpose. And once that restraint is in place, the next step is to seek justice, but to do so with fairness and balance. 3. Justice without injustice. After betrayal, once the initial storm of emotion is controlled, the question naturally arises, should I seek justice? Islam provides a balanced answer. Justice is not only allowed, it is encouraged, but it must never cross into injustice. The Qur'an reminds us, do not let hatred cause you to be unjust. Be just. That is nearer to righteousness. This verse captures the essence of how betrayal should be addressed. You are not asked to stay silent in the face of wrongdoing, but you are warned not to let pain and anger push you beyond what is fair. Imagine a betrayal in business. A partner withholds your rightful share or cheats you out of an agreement. It is just to demand repayment, to seek legal or ethical restitution. But what would be unjust is to respond with cruelty by slandering their family, exaggerating their faults, or causing them harm beyond what they did to you. Justice is a straight line, while revenge often twists that line into darkness. The unique wisdom here is that revenge, while it may feel sweet in the moment, often erases your moral standing. By sinking to the level of the betrayer, you trade your dignity for temporary satisfaction. Balanced justice, however, preserves both your rights and your honor. It allows you to stand firm without lowering yourself. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, demonstrated this balance many times. He responded firmly to treachery, but he never allowed personal anger to cloud his fairness. He taught that justice should restore what is lost, not create new wrongs. This approach protects not only society, but also the soul. Without balance, justice becomes vengeance, and vengeance poisons the heart. True justice draws a boundary, saying, "You wronged me, but I will not wrong you in return." That stance carries a power far greater than revenge because it shows that betrayal has not mastered you. Justice is a vital step, but it is not the highest. Sometimes after justice is done, or even when justice cannot be achieved, the heart is called to an even higher response: forgiveness. 4. The strength of forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of the hardest choices after betrayal, yet in Islam it is seen as one of the strongest. Many people think forgiveness is weakness, a sign of being unable to defend yourself. But in reality, forgiveness is mastery over the ego. It is choosing not to let bitterness own you. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, forgave those who plotted to kill him, those who insulted him, and those who harmed his companions. His forgiveness was not because he lacked the power to punish. It was because he chose mercy when it would elevate hearts, including his own. The unique wisdom of forgiveness is that it frees the one who forgives more than the one forgiven. Holding on to anger is like carrying a heavy chain tied to the betrayer. Every time you think of them, the chain pulls at your peace. Forgiveness cuts that chain. It says, "You no longer control my heart, my thoughts, or my peace of mind." This doesn't mean that forgiveness always restores trust. In Islam, forgiveness is about the soul, not about giving someone the same access they once had. You can forgive a betrayer without putting yourself back in a position to be hurt again. Forgiveness is about cleansing your heart, not about excusing the betrayal. Psychologically, this is profound. Studies show that holding grudges harms mental health, increasing stress, and even physical illness. Islam's wisdom anticipated this truth long ago. Freeing your heart through forgiveness is healthier for both your soul and body. It is also a reminder that forgiveness elevates you above the betrayer. When you forgive, you show that your dignity cannot be stolen by their actions. You remain in control of yourself rather than letting their betrayal define your story. Yet forgiveness does not mean naive trust. It must be paired with wisdom, with setting boundaries that protect you from being harmed again. 5. Boundaries with wisdom. Forgiveness is noble, but it does not mean allowing yourself to be harmed again. Betrayal teaches us a painful but valuable lesson. Not everyone deserves the same level of trust. Islam emphasizes forgiveness, but it also encourages wisdom. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that a believer is not stung from the same hole twice. This powerful statement shows that while mercy is praiseworthy, repeating the same mistake is not. When someone betrays you, you may choose to forgive them for the sake of your own peace and for the reward of forgiveness. But forgiveness is not an invitation for them to betray you again. Caution is part of faith. Setting boundaries is not about bitterness. It is about self-respect and dignity. Think of it this way. If someone stole from you once, it would be unwise to hand them your valuables again without safeguards. If a friend breaks your confidence, you can forgive them, but you do not have to keep sharing your secrets. Boundaries protect your heart and your well-being, while still allowing you to move forward without hatred. The overlooked wisdom here is that boundaries do not contradict forgiveness. In fact, they complete it. Forgiveness clears the heart of resentment, while boundaries protect the heart from being hurt in the same way again. Together, they allow you to walk forward without being chained to the past. This balance is essential. Some people forgive but remain vulnerable, leading to repeated harm. Others set boundaries but fill their hearts with bitterness. The Islamic approach brings the two together. Forgive sincerely, then guard yourself wisely. Once boundaries are in place, the story of betrayal does not end there. Instead of letting it pull you into despair, the next step is to use betrayal as fuel for personal growth. 6. Turning betrayal into growth. One of the most powerful stories of betrayal in the Qur'an is the story of Prophet Yusuf. His brothers betrayed him in the most severe way, casting him into a well and selling him into slavery. Yet that betrayal, which seemed like the end of his life, became the path to his greatness. Without that hardship, Yusuf would not have risen to a position of honor and leadership in Egypt. The hidden wisdom is clear. Betrayal can shift a believer's reliance from people to the Creator. Often, we lean too heavily on human support. Betrayal removes those crutches and forces us to walk with faith alone. It strips away illusions and shows us that the Creator is the only one who can never abandon us. This pain, though sharp, carries within it the seed of resilience. Every time you survive betrayal, you learn strength you did not know you had. you discover patience, clarity, and endurance that only hardship can teach. A unique perspective here is that betrayal is not always a detour. It can be the main road to your higher purpose. Yusuf's betrayal led him to greatness. For others, betrayal can be the event that sparks a new career, inspires a new mission, or deepens their spiritual journey. What feels like a loss may actually be a hidden redirection. So rather than letting betrayal drag you into despair, Islam encourages turning that pain into fuel. Ask yourself, what lesson is hidden in this? How can this betrayal push me closer to faith, closer to my true calling? With this mindset, betrayal stops being the end of your story. It becomes the turning point towards something greater. And from there, the next step is rebuilding yourself, not with bitterness, but with resilience and complete trust in the Creator. 7. Rebuilding with resilience. Betrayal may feel like an ending, but in truth, it can be the beginning of a stronger version of yourself. The wound it leaves behind does not have to define you, it can refine you. When approached with faith, betrayal becomes the fire that shapes steel, hardening your resilience and deepening your trust in the Creator. The first step in rebuilding is reflection. Every betrayal carries a lesson. Ask yourself, what signs did I ignore? What habits or choices left me vulnerable? What can I learn from this? Reflection transforms betrayal from pointless pain into purposeful growth. The next step is building better habits. Betrayal often reveals cracks in our character, our relationships, or our routines. It may push us to pray more consistently, to manage our time wisely, or to choose honesty and fairness more carefully in our dealings. These new habits become the bricks of a stronger foundation. Another essential step is surrounding yourself with healthier company. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Choose companions who remind you of faith, who lift you when you fall, and who stand with you in truth. The companions of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, were betrayed by certain tribes, but instead of falling apart, they rebuilt stronger communities with those who remained loyal. Their resilience became the foundation for the growth of the Muslim Ummah. Above all, true resilience is not just about personal effort. It is about tawakkul, trust in the Creator. People may fail you, but He never does. Healing comes from relying on Him, surrendering your pain to His wisdom, and trusting that every loss has a hidden purpose. When betrayal pushes you toward the Creator, it becomes the very thing that strengthens your faith. Betrayal is not a chain holding you down. It is a doorway leading you to a stronger, wiser, and more faithful version of yourself. 8. Respond with ihsan, excellence beyond justice. When betrayal strikes, the natural instinct is to harden the heart and answer hurt with hurt. But Islam calls the believer to rise above instinct and embody ihsan, excellence in character that goes beyond justice. Ihsan means responding with goodness even when wronged, and it is one of the most powerful ways to break the cycle of harm. The Qur'an says, "Repel evil with what is better, and you will see that the one you had enmity with becomes like a close friend." This verse does not promise that every betrayer will change, but it shows the transformative power of responding with goodness. When someone expects retaliation and instead receives kindness, it shakes them to their core. It leaves a mark far stronger than revenge ever could. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, embodied this principle in his life. There were times when enemies betrayed him, mocked him, and even tried to kill him. Yet when he gained power, he often chose mercy instead of revenge. One of the clearest examples was the conquest of Makkah. The very people who had betrayed him, driven him from his home, and waged war against him stood powerless before him. Yet he declared, "Go, for you are free." Many of those who once hated him became his most loyal supporters after witnessing his mercy. This is the unique perspective Islam teaches. Choosing kindness after betrayal is not about excusing the wrong. It is about breaking the chain of negativity and creating space for guidance. Sometimes, your act of ihsan becomes the reason someone reflects, changes, or repents. But even if the betrayer never changes, ihsan still benefits you. It lifts your heart above bitterness, proving that betrayal has not diminished your dignity. It allows you to define yourself not by the wrong done to you, but by the strength of your response. Ihsan is the highest level of response, when you not only restrain revenge, but replace it with goodness. It is hard, but it carries the deepest reward, both in this life and in the next. 9. Leave the matter to the Creator. There will be times when betrayal cannot be undone. The betrayer may never apologize, justice may not be served, and the pain may feel unresolved. In such moments, Islam offers a final step of wisdom. Leave the matter to the Creator. The Qur'an reminds us, "And whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him." This verse teaches that no betrayal ever escapes divine knowledge. Even if the betrayer walks free in this world, the Creator's justice is perfect and cannot be avoided. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, knew this deeply. He faced betrayal from allies who broke promises and from enemies who schemed behind his back. Sometimes he responded with justice, sometimes with forgiveness, and sometimes he simply placed his trust in the Creator's judgment. He bore the pain with patience, confident that no act of treachery would go unanswered in the end. This perspective is often forgotten. Many people exhaust themselves trying to win against those who betrayed them. They replay scenarios in their mind, seeking ways to prove a point or force accountability. But this endless struggle only deepens bitterness. By handing the matter to the Creator, you release yourself from the burden of chasing an outcome you cannot control. Leaving betrayal to divine justice is not weakness. It is faith in the unseen. It is the recognition that the Creator's scales are more accurate than any human measure. It frees you from bitterness and allows you to focus on your own growth, knowing that nothing is forgotten and every soul will face the truth of its actions. Ultimate peace comes from this trust. You no longer need to carry the weight of betrayal on your shoulders because you know the one who sees all will deliver justice in the perfect way and at the perfect time. Betrayal hurts, but in Islam, it is transformed into growth. 7 steps guide the believer. See it as a wake-up call. Restrain the first reaction. Pursue justice fairly. Forgive. Set wise boundaries. Turn pain into growth. And finally, rebuild with resilience and trust in the Creator. You may not control who betrays you, but you can control how you respond. That choice is what defines your strength and your faith. Have you ever faced betrayal? How did you respond? Share your reflections in the comments so we can learn and grow together.